Welcome to AusIDentities. My name's Michael White and I'm the creator of the AusIDentities program, and I'll be your guide throughout each of these modules. Now in this particular module we're going to be having a look at AusIdentities Explained, which is basically looking at the underpinning theories behind the program itself and the contributors from history and from contemporary times associated with AusIdentities. Now for those of you who are new to the program, basically we've taken personality traits and then linked them to the characteristics of some well-known Australian animals. We've taken the wombat, for example, grounded, sensible, hard-working, loyal, dependable, shying away from the limelight, but very diligent and methodical when approaching work, life and tasks. So those characteristics really do go a long way to summing up this particular personality type. On the other hand, we have the dolphin. Now the dolphin, kind, caring, affectionate, social, loving, idealistic, enjoys the companionship of like-minded people, very non-competitive. And again, we thought that the dolphin really spoke volumes about this particular personality type. And then we come to the kangaroo. Now the kangaroo is spontaneous, fast reacting, maybe a bit of a risk taker, leap before they look, both of which can get them into trouble at times. Very, very good metaphor for this particular personality type, we felt. And then, last but not least, we come to our eagles. Knowledgeable, intelligent, discerning, bit of a visionary, far-sighted, intellectual, with very strong personalities. Again, each of these personality types is very well reflected, we feel, in these choice of 4 animals, which is why we use them, as well as to set this system apart from others that might be already be in use. Now, from a historical perspective, we can trace the origins of personality theory all the way back to the ancient Greeks, to a gentleman called Hippocrates, who was a physician as well as a philosopher, if you like. He was looking for the link between body and mind, and he was working with 4 personality types as well, the calm, somber, cheerful, enthusiastic types. And they formed the basis of his theories around this whole body science medicine, and also formed the basis for most personality type theories to come out of those times. Now, as far as modern day psychology goes, I guess Carl Jung would have to be considered the godfather of all of these temperament type theories. Carl Jung, throughout his work, he recognized 8 distinctly different types of people. Again, there is this link to the Hippocratic types. 2 variations of each of the 4 Hippocratic types gives us the 8 types of the Carl Jung theory. Now, the theories of Carl Jung were in fact then later on developed and modeled into a system of 16 personality types by a mother and daughter partnership of Isabel Briggs Myers and Catherine Cook Briggs. They presupposed that there was actually 2 variations of each of the 2 types that Carl Jung was working with, which of course gives us this model of 16, which is a little bit difficult, a little bit clunky to work with in the classroom. Now, underpinning a part of the AusIdentities program as well as a little-known Swiss psychologist by the name of Eric Berne. Now, back in the 50s, Eric Berne wrote a book called Games People Play, basically outlining why people do what they do. He said nobody does anything for no reason. We all do something for some reason, to get some kind of reward, to get some kind of feedback. He called his model of communication or interaction transactional analysis. It's a transaction. We're giving something to get something in return. Now it's important to remember that while you don't need to understand this theory to appreciate it, you do need to appreciate that it's not just parents who act like parents. The bossy child can look like a parent to other kids. The adult who goes into those meltdown moments and behaves like a child will look very immature to others. But we all go through this transition where we can behave like a parent, an adult, or a child at times throughout the course of our lives, and in fact throughout the course of our everyday. And it's this theory that's also gone into creating some of the theories associated with AusIdentities. Now, modern day, the person who's most contributed to the program would be David Keirsey, and he outlines his theories in a wonderful book, Please Understand Me. The subsequent sequel, Please Understand Me 2, went on to become an international bestseller. And in here, he talks all about this link between the Greeks, the philosophers of old, to Eric Berne, to Carl Jung, to Isabel and Catherine. And basically, he says we're all talking about the same thing. all talking about the same theories. The 16 personality types of the Myers-Briggs, it's a given that they are founded on the 8 Jungian function types. But he says by linking all of the 4 types who share the commonality of SJ together and SP together and NF together and NT together, you can actually distill the 16 types down into the 4 temperament types that Hippocrates was talking about. And this has become the founding principle around the 4 types associated with AusIdentities. But we don't stop there. A student of David Keirsey's, a lady by the name of Eve DeLunas, wrote a book called Survival Games Personalities Play. And in this book, she talks about which type plays which game and why. So again, it's building upon the work of Carl Jung, building upon the work of Isabel and Catherine and Eric Byrne and David Keirsey, and giving us a more succinct, more understandable, more reasonable approach to understanding behavior and to behavior management in the students of today. But again, we bring in new knowledge, new systems. Linda Behrens, psychologist, she actually created a model that connects us to the core needs and the deeply held values of each of the 4 temperament types. Now, if you understand anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if your needs aren't being met, you're not going to be as successful in life as you could be. You're not going to actualize, he said. And Linda Behrens has done a wonderful job of separating the core needs and the driving values of each of the 4 types so that we can begin to work with them. And these are, again, a foundational part of the AusIdentities program. So there you have it, a brief introduction to AusIdentities. There'll be more in future modules, and I look forward to working with you then. Thank you for your time and welcome to the AusIdentities program.